I use the arrows too?
I think so.
Okay,
Yep.
we'll try. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, 1 million cups. Welcome to. Am I muted? No, not muted. Am I muted? Am I too tall?
There we go.
Not much too tall. Good morning, 1 million cups, and welcome to our Fairfax chapter community. Welcome to everybody here in the room and to the folks who are online. We're looking forward to Dominique's presentation this morning. And so let's get started. So 1 Million Cups is sponsored by the Kauffman Foundation, and they work with communities and entrepreneurship to increase opportunities for learning and networking and not networking and partnerships, and how we can take control of our own success. We are both national and local. Key pillars on here are so important. These are presentations, not pitches, and the idea is that we are building strong relationships through authentic connections. We are run for the community, by the community, and my favorite pillar, we are radically and intentionally inclusive. All across the country at 9 a.m. on Wednesday mornings, we get together and share challenges as well as success stories. Visitors, please raise your hands, and what we'd like to do is have I not started the video? Can you guys see the slides?
There we go.
There we go.
We can see the slides now. We can see you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for the prompt. So for those of you that are new, we'd love to know your name, your company name, and how you found us. And Amir, I know I said to you that I wouldn't have you go first, but I'm going to have you go first.
It is all good. Hello, everybody, and good morning. My name is Amir Arrington. I am a operations intern at 48 Blocks Fine Candy with Mrs. Hughes, and that is how I heard about you guys from her. And I'm very excited to be on this call this morning and learn. So, yes.
Welcome, Amir. I'm glad to have you in the office and here. Come on.
Hello, my name is Izzy Gustitis. I am Dominique's intern, her legal intern for the summer. I'm an undergrad, and yeah, I'm just here to watch and support this presentation. I'm very excited to see what you guys can come up with, and yeah, I'm just excited to learn. So thank you guys for having me.
Great. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the mouse again. There we go. The QR code is.
I think we have Guinevere, Amy. I think we also have Guinevere's name.
And possibly Sonia.
Oh, there are a couple
Just
other
your-
people. Can't
People
see.
that I didn't
Just
see.
your name.
Guinevere?
Guinevere, if you can share who you are and how you heard about us.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Guinevere. I am with FBC Bank, and I was brought on with Sonia, so found out through her as well. I'm with FBC Bank. I can't remember if I said that.
Welcome.
And Sonia?
Sonia may still be joining with audio, so we can come back.
Okay, we'll come back. I can't see what you can see, Jen. Sorry. So thank you for that prompt. QR code that's on the screen. That is our check-in that lets the national headquarters of 1 Million Cups know that you are here. We are here. You can see on the trends there, number of folks that are attending. And if you will scan that, enter your information, that would be great. That lets us get swag. That lets us, again, show the national headquarters that we are growing and that we are an active chapter. And this QR code will come up again later in the presentation as well, so if you miss it now, don't worry, we can circle back. There we go. So this 1 Million Cups, the activities that we do don't happen in a vacuum. You can see the organizing team here. If you are interested in helping, many hands make light burdens. We also have brand ambassadors who share information about 1 Million Cups in the community. And we are always looking for additional help. We have 2 partner organizations, Veterans Growing America and the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority, who assist us in our mission of connecting entrepreneurs. Eddie, would you like to talk about the Enterprise Center where we are?
Thank you, Amy. Ms. Hughes. You know I would. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to first Wednesday, 1 Million Cups. First Wednesday of every month, we host you guys in a hybrid format. So we've got some new faces here today, although as we kick off our summer. Thank you, everyone, for getting up and attending today. Quickly about Mason Enterprise Center. We're a traditional business incubator, but we work with businesses at every stage of the business life cycle. We're particularly good with technology startups, but we also have great office space if you're just looking for a place to land your business. If you'd like more information about how we can help your company or about the office space, please reach out to me directly at ehill25@gmu.edu. Thanks.
Thank you, Eddie. Normally this blank slide, we would have a coffee sponsor this morning. Unless someone is going to tell me that they are, I think we have left that one blank. But QR code on here, if you didn't get a chance to check in, please use that for your check-in.
Hey, no.
Excuse me? Okay, so how the meetings work, pretty simple. Be polite. Keep yourselves on mute. Be generous with your responses, but be generous in a very concise manner. Please ask one question of our presenter at a time. And for you, as our presenter, just know that we are keeping notes. You'll get the chat and you'll also get a recording of this afterwards, so you don't have to worry that you're not going to miss some things. So this morning, Dominique is going to present to us her challenge question, and I'm going to keep it short and you go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. My name is Dominique Braggs. I am the owner and founder of Braggs Law Office. And we say our tagline is better legal options. And so let's go to the next slide and we'll, oh, should I go ahead and do this? Oh, okay, great. So this is my challenge question today. What are clients looking for in an estate planning attorney? Because the joke is that in the DC metro area, 1 out of every 3 people is an attorney. That doesn't mean that they all do estate planning, but there are so many attorneys around here. So we really want to know what are clients looking for and how can we stand out from the crowd. So with this law firm, we do estate and trust work, and there's a special emphasis in estate planning interventions, which means guardianships, which is help for the person when an incapacitated person needs help, conservatorships, when an incapacitated person needs help with their finances, and then probate, which probate is something that everyone goes through. It's how you actually distribute your assets from an individual and distribute them to the heirs. I am licensed to practice in Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, so I hit the trifecta in this area. This is also, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and this is a veteran-owned and operated firm. So I initially, I graduated from law school in 2005, and did a little bit of work here and there. I worked for GE, went to law school at night, and so I initially incorporated my firm in 2012. And then a few years later, I joined a partnership with another attorney. A few years after that, I joined a firm, and I was most recently with a firm in Vienna, Virginia. I left that firm at the end of October and restarted Bragg's Law Offices in November of 2024. So while this is a new iteration, I've actually been an estate planning attorney for about 20 years now. So the business has officially launched. It launched on November 1st, and we had clients immediately. When I left Dunlap, Bennett and Ludwig, I would say about 95% of the clients came with me that I had been working with. And so I did have a ready client base to be able to start working. And I did start doing client work that same month. Again, I operate in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And I'm actually able to assist clients nationwide. And that's because I have a network of other estate planning attorneys that I can reach out and collaborate with throughout the country. So if I have a client that is here in DC, but they're moving to Pennsylvania, I'm still going to be able to assist them with the help of other attorneys that I've met and worked with over the last 20 years. So what is it that, what issue or what problem does this business solve? And there are three main points that I wanted to emphasize. And again, we say Bragg's Law Offices, we are providing better legal options. And you say, what exactly does that mean? Well, you might hear this term a lot, but within estate planning, it's providing peace of mind. There are so many clients, when we finally finish their estate plan, they say, oh, it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. There's this feeling of relief. So that's the providing peace of mind. We say it's like going to the dentist. Everyone knows that they need to do it, but they try to put it off. I've talked to people who have had make a will on their list of things to do for years. And so part of our goal is to make it not a scary proposition, make people want to go ahead and take that step. The second point is assisting clients dealing with incapacity issues. And when we talk about incapacity, we normally think about incapacity is the inability to take in information, process it, and make decisions. So a lot of times we think of someone developing dementia or Alzheimer's, and you can clearly see then that that's in some ways they're not able to take in the information, process it, and make decisions about what's good for them and their finances. So those are the incapacity issues that we're normally dealing with, and we help the clients and their families. And then finally, probate. Probate is not a dirty word, even though when you mention the word probate, most people kind of cringe and say, oh my gosh. So we also work in guiding families through the probate process, because we say there are only two guarantees in life, and that's death and taxes. So everyone's family is going to go through probate at some point. Our goal is to demystify it, make it easy, and make it a process that allows you to continue grieving, but still go ahead and get this job done. So we generate revenue. Right now, we generate it in two different ways. When our primary source of business is estate plans. And because we know with certainty that it will take between 4 and 6 hours to complete a plan, we can provide flat rate, pricing for the estate plans. If someone wants a trust-based plan, we can say it's probably going to take us this long. And so this is the amount that we're willing to charge. And then during that time, you can call us if you have questions, emails. We're going through doing the updates to make sure that you're comfortable with the process. And when you're ready to sign, you understand what you're signing. We do we do hourly rate for other types of legal work. Normally it's something that involves court appearance because it adds an element of uncertainty. So for instance, probate work, we're going to be in court, in front of judges, in front of the commissioner of accounts. And so we can't say with certainty that, we can charge $1,500 for the entire process, because it could take much longer than anticipated. One of the things that we have in the pipeline, so I also wanted to discuss this, and I have another slide regarding it, is
a subscription membership plan. And you don't see this with most attorneys. A lot of times we're trying to grapple with how exactly we can set up a subscription plan. And the goal is to have clients coming back and keeping their plans updated, contacting us when they have questions, and not being as concerned about, I sent you a happy birthday card and you charged me $110 for opening it. But we want to get past that. So as I said, the subscription membership plan is in the pipeline, but this is the idea. So for a cost of $600 a month or $50 monthly increments, what you get within our typical estate plans, we provide the plan, and then there is a free review every 3 years. And the review just consists of, we go over what's in your plan and decide, have there been changes? Do you need updates? And then there are additional costs for making those updates. But our typical plan has a 3-year review built in. With the membership plan, we can do annual estate plan reviews. Okay, and then there's also, like I said, this is $600 a month, but there's a credit towards updates. And the nice thing about this is it can be transferred to your other family members. So if you are a parent with a child who's about to graduate from college, you might say, well, you know, I'm not going to use this. I don't need to update my plan right now, but I would like my daughter or son to get started on a basic plan. And so there's a credit that they can use towards doing their own plans. Now, this last part, we're still massaging this because, as I said, the goal is I want people to reach out when they have questions. I put the limiter on there just because without a limiter, you might have questions from someone every other day, but we do want to remain in contact with our clients and make sure that we're up to date. I would rather have them contact me than 5 years down the road, they say, oh yeah, we have 2 more kids now, and I guess we really do need to update our plan. Okay, so the value proposition. This was an interesting slide, and it really made me think, what exactly are we offering? Because I can tell you right off the top of my head, yes, we offer estate planning, tax planning, the interventions, business planning, so succession planning for business owners, and then probate. That's the easy part. And I say, I do anything, if you go to the courthouse and you go to the probate division, I do anything within the probate division, and that really encompasses those 5 items listed there. So the ideal client, they say, what is your ideal client? And I will be candid, I'm Gen X, and the first thing I thought was sandwich generation. I have my mother who is in her 70s. She has a birthday tomorrow, so very excited about that. But my mother is still living. She now has some medical challenges, and so we're trying to, you know, I grew up in Arlington, she's still in Arlington, but making sure that she's taken care of. My son, the youngest of my 3 children, just graduated from college Memorial Day weekend. And so I had children that, you know, they're now, thank goodness, all college graduates, all gainfully employed. But you know, I am part of that sandwich generation. We're dealing with parents, we're dealing with children, we're dealing with our own selves, and making sure that we have proper plans in place. Also, blended families. And I put the Brady Bunch on here. I didn't want to age myself, but it's the Brady Bunch. If anyone has ever seen that show, you have someone who, parents who have remarried and they're blending their families together. They have children from prior marriages or relationships. And there are some special considerations that they want to make sure are taken care of. And then grandparents. Grandparents are probably our top clients because they are trying to figure out how to pass along their wealth to their children and grandchildren and build that legacy and what that entails. So that's my ideal client. Again, what the unique points that I provide. So just as an example, I mentioned earlier, I'm licensed in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We have clients who maybe live in Maryland, say Montgomery County, but they have a business that they run in DC. So they commute to DC every day, they run their business. And oh, by the way, they also inherited property or they purchased property in Virginia. Well, instead of going to 3 different attorneys, if they have issues that need to be done, I can actually take a hands-on approach and work in all 3 of these jurisdictions. I'm licensed in all 3. And as I mentioned earlier, I also have a network of attorneys that I work with nationwide. So I'm currently working with a classmate who lives in New Jersey, and I provided his plan, and then I'm working with a New Jersey attorney to review everything and make sure it's all set. But that's also something that I can offer, the comfort of working with me, but also being able to offer services nationwide. So differentiators, as I said, I'm a veteran. This is a veteran-owned company, and we're very proud of that. I joke that growing up in the Northern Virginia area, I knew a lot of military folks who worked at the Pentagon. So at the time, I thought there was no difference between the Army and the Air Force. I said it's all the same thing. It was not the same thing. I went up to West Point, which is where I graduated, and we were outside, and I kept saying, "Why are we outside?" And they said, "You're in the Army." Ugh. And I said, "Okay, I get it, but why are we outside?" So I wouldn't exchange that Army experience for anything, but veteran owned. As I said, we provide checkups, built-in checkups to our state plans every 3 years. That's a given. We also provide a visual map for the estate plans. I work with a lot of financial advisors, and one was a former engineer, and he said, "Okay, you've given me 50 pages of something. Can we do a visual, a 1-page process map?" And so we also provide process maps with our estate plan so someone can look at it very clearly and see where all the moving pieces are. And finally, we provide video keepsakes for future generations. I know everyone has had that, the loved one who's no longer here, and maybe they had left you a voicemail at some point and you try to save it on your phone and it goes through many iterations and then something happens with your phone and you no longer have that. So we actually, as part of our plans, provide video keepsakes. You can say whatever you want. You can say, "I love the color pink and that's why I do this." Or, we wanted to make sure that you were taken care of. And it's always fantastic. I'd give anything to be able to have something with my grandmother's voice again. So we're providing that to our clients as well. All right, I mentioned my target clients, members of the sandwich generation, perhaps business owners or employees that are at peak earning years, people with elderly parents or children, and blended families. So those are really, we have a lot of people that are dealing with those situations. Most of my referral partners are financial advisors, insurance agents, CPAs, realtors, and I use BNI, Vistage, LinkedIn, Facebook. My fantastic intern, I love the young people. She literally set up all of my business social media accounts yesterday. So I'm a little behind the curve, but we're getting there. And she managed to knock it out in just a few hours, something I've been struggling with for months. So wonderful. I have 3 competitors listed up here, and you'll notice these are just, local law firms, and we all offer estate planning and probate work. But the Legacy Law Group, also offers fiduciary litigation. So that's if you're an executor of an estate and one of the heirs is suing, they provide that litigation support. The second company does Medicaid planning. Medicaid planning is very specialized. Most attorneys want nothing to do with it. In fact, I said, if I have Medicaid planning questions, I'm happy to speak with them because it's a very specialized area. And the final competitor offers civil litigation. So I'm a transactional attorney. I do a lot of the paperwork behind the scenes. Civil litigators are the ones who are always in court arguing in front of the judges, and they love that. So I love that for them. And other services that I'm able to offer to maybe help with these other competitors and attorneys. I do interventions. I do work with guardians, conservators. I collaborate with out-of-state attorneys, and that's something that I'm able to do and leverage. So getting back to my challenge question, what are clients looking for in an estate planning attorney, and how do I differentiate myself?
Great, Dominique.
Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So now as we move on to the Q&A, again, the question, what are clients looking for in a estate planning attorney? And I think we can even broaden up questions or comments regarding branding or any other aspects on the how to get those clients. All right, with that, we'll open up Q&A.
Lost.
All right, James, you're up next.
Thanks, guys. Can you hear me okay? We're good sound wise.
Yes.
All right, okay. So having just gone through this, like in the last couple of years, I think the one big thing, and you had one of the slides, Dominique, is who you partner with. Because I think what people want is the trust factor is huge, right? And kind of having that relationship. So clearly the stronger relationships that you can build, especially financial advisors, which is what we did. They had an estate planner on-prem that we actually ended up using. So I think that is a big deal. But I also think, as Maria said, I think when you start getting out there and talking about estate planning, you got to stop talking about estate planning. It's really, what are the things that you know that we don't? What are the things that are going to trip us up? I think I want to spend or hear a little bit more from you about the pitfalls of not doing it more than anything else, right? Maybe. And certainly as the laws change, deductions change, taxes change, there's a lot of stuff that happens in estate planning over time that maybe, and if you're not doing it already, and I don't know if you are, that you might want to focus on more than the actual thing itself. That's what I'm looking as a general public individual. That's where I want to know that you guys know your stuff and that I'm not going to get caught out on something. So yeah, I'm sure you're doing all that. I don't know. But if you aren't, I would certainly think more about that kind of stuff for sure.
We'll go to AJ, Jen, and then we also have our question on in the chat. AJ, go ahead. You're on mute.
Something I've seen, we receive these, I don't know how you are doing your marketing. I know you talked about the social media and all the stuff, which has its own pluses and minuses, you know. But what I have seen in our lives and in our day-to-day life is receiving direct mail or flyers from, you know, financial advisors and estate attorneys and so on and so forth, estate planning. And they invite you to their events, whether it is the luncheons or dinners or, you know, even otherwise. So we've been constantly receiving from one of these guys, and we even went to attend their events. That was in Reston, and that was the hall was full of people. So something, I don't know whether you are doing this or not, and then also tagging on with like a power team concept, you know, tagging on with other, you know, team members who bring different kind of services, and that way you guys can, you know, attract more people. Because, for example, in the real estate business, you know, the guys who are doing the selling the houses, then the mortgage company, and so on and so forth. So it's like a power team concept. If you invite them together, you have more people coming to your events. So that's one. I don't know whether you're doing this or not, but this could be one of the, you know, ways to at least have your targeted buyers come in, listen to you, and then it's a numbers game end of the day.
Thank you. Let's go to Jen, and we'll do the question and with Amy later.
Thanks, Maria. Dominique, one of the things I think you provide, which is really helpful, is kicking off these difficult conversations with families. So you can almost be I don't want to say mediator, but I know, you know, Dominique has worked with our family when our child turned 18, making sure you had the right paperwork in place. And it's really helpful to have a professional lead you through that conversation and help educate those around you and yourself. So I do think, you know, going back to James Lawson's point, one of the pain points is not knowing what to talk about, not knowing how to have the conversation. I think that's a role that you play really well. And I would make sure to highlight that pain point and how you help families navigate that. I think Marissa Powers had a question around what is the significance of the 3-year review as opposed to annual, if it's an annual membership. If that's something Dominique can chime in on.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So when I first started doing estate plans, I would recommend to the clients that they review their plans every 3 to 5 years. And they would all nod and say, okay, great. And then you might not see them again for 10 years because it's easy to put your binder away, use it as a doorstop, forget about it. And so because we offer the 3-year review as part of our plan, it's just a way of trying to get people back in the door to take a look at it in 3 years. There's nothing magic about 3 to 5 years. It's just to someone's earlier point, I think it was James, there are changes in the law. There are things that we want to be aware of. One of the big things that's on the horizon right now is the possible sunsetting of the lifetime gift exclusion from your taxable estate. And that's set to sunset at the end of 2025. We assume that Congress is going to make some changes and keep it going, but we don't really know. So those are the sort of things that we want to make sure that clients are aware of. And within that 3-year review, we can catch a lot of it. An annual review is even better because just talking to our clients, they sometimes mention things like, oh, I'm about ready to retire. I'm trying to retire and sell my business and start traveling around the world. That's something that we want to make sure is included in your plans.
Right. We come in with Amy on the room.
Thank you for the presentation. We're actually in the middle of this now. And what I'm finding is it tends to be a reaction to a life event or non-reaction. You've talked about the network of lawyers that you're connected to. Are you also connected to the corporate law benefits that a number of the companies have?
Right now, I'm not formally connected with that. In the prior firms that I worked with, they did offer things like the EAP benefits, legal services plans. So I'm aware of them. I've worked with those plans before. I just don't have anything formalized right now. But that's actually a great avenue of getting more people in the door, and I'm glad that they mentioned it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. John Rittenberg.
So, excuse me, Dominique, thank you so much. That was a phenomenal presentation. Really appreciate your preparation. You asked, what are the reasons I would hire an estate planning attorney? So earlier when I went through that process, and I thought back since we chatted, and I want to go to James's point. It was through one of my trusted buddies who was a lawyer in the real estate area. And I turned to him and I said, who did you use? And I asked a couple of people, same thing, by the way, in 2002, I did LASIK surgery. Well, I spoke to the 3 or 4 most conservative doctors I knew who had LASIK surgery before I did it. And once the same name appeared twice, I felt comfortable. And so one is the trusted referral, and the second is the personality. Because in order for me to feel comfortable, I have to like you. And I can't, so you have awareness at the top of a funnel where we're sort of focused now. But I really believe getting people into the funnel is easiest through trusted advisors, just highlighting James's earlier point. And spending time with those folks, whether it's an event per AJ or through other methods, is a strong way to go.
Thank you, John. AJ.
Yeah, so thank you, John. And also continuing from, I see Jen is suggesting the videos. Yeah, the videos are playing a key role in today's advertising and marketing. And how you connect these kind of things together. One of the ways is, as I mentioned earlier, when you invite those people to your events, when they leave, give them something which is they're going to remember. That's the physical item that has some value. They will see your logo, they will see your brand, and so on and so forth. But from there, if a video is playing and then has something like the share buttons, and for them to contact you back, that kind of scenario, I think that's going to help you because now you can change that video as often as you like from the, for example, from the same coffee mug. So they see your series of videos, and at some point of time, if they are watching again and again and again, it's going to generate some interest. I know somebody, or I have a need, I'm going to contact you.
Thank you, AJ.
Sure.
Melinda?
I want to step back a little bit. First of all, great presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the things that I've done with my clients when they're in a struggle like this is I want to know what their passions are, the things they like to do, because sometimes the best way you can do things like what other groups do you belong to? Do you belong to a church? Being around people that already know and trust you may not know what you do, but in these organizations, and I would believe that you belong to other organizations that you may not have mentioned, or other ways to discover this is in the olden days, what section of a bookstore would you go to? Where are those passions of things that you really like, that you like to do? And when you put yourself around those kinds of peoples and even join groups that they're all in that you like, you have a way to just, people will get to know you. And it's a warm, friendly way of trusting the people around you that they may know somebody or whatever it might be. So I'm just throwing out another way that you may be able to find people that know and trust you, because when you have these same passions, you guys really just share so many things in common that it just comes out very naturally and can move your business forward.
AJ?
Thank you. So again, taking from Melinda's point, what she said is like surveys. But one is ask people what they want to hear from you, what kind of services they're offering. Another is how do you do it efficiently, effectively, and the same point when they're watching your video. So if on the same coffee mug along with the video, you have a questionnaire embedded, that's going to help you a lot more.
Anybody else here in the room? Any questions?
Dominique, awesome job.
Tom Shipe is up.
Oh, Tom Shipe is up. Tom, didn't see you.
You're on mute.
Okay. So, Dominique, I'm a real estate agent, and I have had I work in the senior side of the business. I've actually had 4 clients in the last maybe a year, less probably, that were needing your services. And to all of them, to the nth degree, they all were complaining about $500 an hour that the attorneys in Fairfax wanted to charge them. And so, not wanting to get into your business or asking that, you need to be sure you can tell them why you're worth whatever you're charging, because it's really a big kickback. And it's amazing how relatives turn on each other when the money's there and the parents are going and they're starting to fight over it. They all loved each other before Dad died. And now they want they'll kill each other to get the money. I see that all the time. And they're most interested in not spending any. I've got one now that's driving me nuts in every attorney that I refer to them because they're trying to do it themselves. So we know that's not going to work. So one of these days they'll break down and spend the money. But just be able to delineate what your services are and why you charge $500 an hour. That's all. Thank you.
Go. Yeah, go ahead, Sonia.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about my technical difficulty earlier, but my name is Sonia. I work for the small community bank, and I just wanted to say, Dominic, that was phenomenal presentation. I took away a lot of things that I didn't know about. However, my suggestion is we don't have the smaller community bank, we don't have the wealth division where they can just directly suggest our clients to go to talk to the wealth advisor. We don't have that. So having the collaboration with the smaller community bank for you might add that little value in order for us to say, hey, we trust Dominique, go talk to her, or we trust so and go talk to them. And that might be something that you would be interested in. And also, our CEO has a background of the lawyer. He is technically a lawyer, so having that counterpart where he knows certain things, he's a commercial lawyer, you are a different type of lawyer, so that relationship might help in order for us to provide that service for our clients. So just wanted to throw it out there.
Great.
I'm going to jump in real quick. So Dominique, I do LinkedIn all the time, and I see you are on LinkedIn. There are probably some things you could change to update LinkedIn, just because the amount of leverage you get on LinkedIn, from a business standpoint. And then, so there are a number of things you could change. I just throw that out there. And then incorporating a lot of the things have been talked about here onto LinkedIn. They talked about videos and that sort of thing could be helpful. So awesome. Looking forward to talking to you after.
Great, thank you.
John Rutenberg.
So, again, Dominique, phenomenal. My thought relating to the concierge legal, where the subscription thing. So I'm sure you're familiar with Legal Shield, and some people buy into that. But the one thing they do, or the last time I spoke with anyone in that business, they offer as part of their deal to prepare your will. And that's like a magnet. Oh my God, you'll prepare my will? Now, I'm not trying to double the scope of work for you, but as a way to introduce the membership program, something of recognized value needs to be offered to get me started. Just my thoughts.
Reggie, you're up.
Awesome. Good morning, Dominique. Thank you for the presentation. One thing that I thought about is so whenever someone famous passes away, there's always conversation around what happens to their estate, and what we find is, like, a lot of times these people don't have these things that you think are basic things. Like, of course this person would have these plans in place. You find out that they don't, and there's usually, like, stuff that happens after that. But I think that those are good entryways into having sort of broader conversations about what all of us should be doing who aren't celebrities and don't necessarily have all these assets. It's still important. And so I think you can use some of those things that are happening in popular culture as a way to bring the conversation down to the level of an everyday person, because I think we all sort of imagine what that lifestyle would be like, but we don't think about what happens when all that goes away, or when that person is no longer here. So that's a way to kind of create more conversation around what you do. And then I know you said that you've restarted your business. I was looking on your website, and there is some placeholder content there, like text that is not actual text. So I think you want to make sure that that has been addressed, so everything looks like it's finished. So thank you.
Thank you, Reggie.
Reggie, you are a celebrity.
Thanks, Tom.
Anybody else? Anybody else in the room? No? Okay,
One more.
one more.
Testimonials. Nobody said the word testimonials, but I think testimonials are really, really important. And again, video testimonials. I know it's something that we've all thought of, but we haven't said it, so that's why I did.
Thank you, Melinda. Jen?
Sure, just one last thought. I think on LinkedIn or any social platforms or whatever in-person marketing campaigns you're doing, I would really just focus on building that consistent visibility. And so whether it's a video series, whether it's, I actually think doing a LinkedIn ad on your company page to specific partner groups like CPAs, other attorneys, family law attorneys would be great. And I do think there are a lot of blended families, or a lot of families who maybe they're estranged. And so maybe even giving them, what's the first step? Why does estate planning matter? How do you re-engage family to make that process happen? That may not be the clients you want, I'm not sure, but I do think that blended family piece is really big. And a lot of your stories, even that you've personally gone through, can really be utilized to highlight a lot of those things. And I think that makes you even more relatable and increases your trust factor as well.
Thank you, Jen. So I think that's it. We can go into
Well,
moving on.
jump to share here. There we go. Final question.
All right, so we always like to wrap up the Q&A session with one final question for you, Dominique, and that is, what can we do for you today?
So what I would love, and this goes back to Sonia's suggestion, anyone who's known me for a little while, and Jen knows me, I say, give an attorney 10 minutes to talk, and we just say, what do you want us to talk about? We'll do it. But I love the idea of getting in front of different partners, whether it's the small community banks, whether it is groups of CPAs, groups of realtors. Part of what I love about this job is being able to educate people. I see this all the time. I get excited about it. And I'm sorry, I just blanked on your name, but to the point about the famous people, I've done blog posts before that said, Prince has died. Why does he suddenly have family coming out of the woodwork? It's because he didn't have a will. So I love getting in front of people and answering those questions. I get excited about it. There are times I have to tamp it down and say, this could be a traumatic event for someone. So stop smiling, even though you find this fascinating, be cognizant, be aware of that. So I would love assistance with getting in front of some of your organizations or communities that you work with who just have questions. And I'm happy to answer those questions. So whether it's a lunch and learn or just a workshop or something, love to do that.
It's a good network, and I know folks are willing to share. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Great presentation. We all need it. Next week's presenter. I'm going to flip to our upcoming events here. So this slide, this is we're sharing information of things happening here in the community, other networking opportunities. These links, Jen or Melinda, if you can throw the active links into the chat, that would be great. You can see on here any number of opportunities for networking, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a larger business. here is our presenter schedule that I was looking for. So for June, we are virtual next week. And you can see that we actually have an open slot. So if you have something that you would like to present, if you have a business challenge you'd like to present, please let us know. We'd love to slide you into that slot. Jeff Subal will be coming up on the 18th. And then at the end of the month, we've been running a marketing series, no trust and
Like
no and trust. No and trust. Never gonna remember that. But these have been great town halls and really engaging and an opportunity to learn, which we all need. So if you are interested in presenting, please let us know, and we would love to have you. Help us spread the good word. We've talked about LinkedIn. We love LinkedIn, but there's also other social media platforms where you can find information about 1 Million Cups and specifically 1 Million Cups Fairfax. So if you're not following us, please do, and please spread the word about your good experience today in our session. We have a little bit of time, so if you'd like to stick around for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have to be out of them.
Okay, so if you'd like to stick around and chat, please do. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you next week, and thanks for joining us today. Have a great Wednesday.
Thank you.